Thanks, Joel.
You good? No?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, good.
Kurtley, what's it like to be back in Wallabies camp?
Yeah, really humbled to be back in the mix, and excited to be playing under Joe. And the coaching staff. It's a pretty well experienced coaching staff, and just super excited to be amongst the guys again, and really excited for the opportunity ahead. And it's been a while now, but ready to rip in.
Were you shocked to get the call?
Not so much a shock. Kind of been pondering it for a while now. Having the year off kind of allowed me to get myself ready physically, mentally, spiritually, and watching the guys, especially at the World Cup. A lot of emotions there, and it kind of kept the fire in the belly going. And obviously got the opportunity to play some rugby this year, and especially at the Force, and got the opportunity. So it's just really, I'm really glad to be back, and just keen to add my influence on the group, and especially with the young crew who have a lot of enthusiasm, and they're just eager to learn, and so really excited about that, and adding my bit, and hoping, pushing towards winning games later on in the year.
What sort of role do you see yourself playing?
Look, I think individually I'll be pushing myself to be able to be ready for any position or whatever opportunity that comes. But then just having that kind of soundboard for a lot of the young playmakers in the group, or anyone in the group. I guess being that older guy in the group now, you kind of sharing those experiences, which is really important in driving the team in the right direction, helping the coaching staff with the direction there, and just kind of holding everyone up to keeping the standards on the field high, and really pushing each other to get better.
Okay, there was a guys we spoke to yesterday. They were waiting by the computer, hoping the email was going to drop. For here, you've got 2 kids now. So, did you have time to even think about when the email was going to land?
Yeah, I was actually out at the park with my little fella, so he's keeping me busy. It's always an anxious wait to see if you're selected or not. Been around for this long. I don't know where you were, Slips. Actually, you might have been driving up on the highway, I think.
No, I was trying.
Oh, you and once the email came through, it was obviously a lot of excitement, not only for myself but my family. Shone a lot of light on that. They've been huge support throughout the past 18 months, and forever grateful for their support in helping me get back to the top.
Were there any tears?
Yeah, a little emotion, mate. Mixed emotions. But now I've got one foot in the door. There's a lot of things I still want to achieve in the game, and that's first being a good teammate, and pushing the group to back to the top, where we deserve to be. And I know there's a lot of hard work to be done. So first things first is making sure that we're putting our best forward at training.
In your darkest kind of days, did you think that you'd ever get this opportunity again to be in a Wallabies environment?
Yeah, I'd always back myself, although you'd think at the time it's a long shot, but a lot of self-belief and a lot of training on my own, just allowed me to kind of put myself in the best spot, mentally and physically, and having the right people around me as well really helped. And here we are now.
You basically just played fullback for the Force. Back in the past, you played a lot of 10 and 12. Do you still see yourself being able to potentially do that? And guys like Willie LaRue, who used to play with you, do they serve as inspiration as well, going that guys that are 34, 35 can still play and still cut it at international rugby?
Yeah, absolutely. If the fire wasn't in the belly, I don't think I'd be sitting here. So if I didn't think I could add anything, it'd be a different different story. But you know, having time away and having, I guess, having that experience under my belt allows me to come back and put my best foot forward for the group. And you know, I had to prove that at Super Rugby level at the Force this year, and I really enjoyed my time over there working with those guys, and hopefully I can do the same thing here at this level.
During last year's World Cup, were you just watching at home?
Yeah, watching at home. Yeah, heartbreaking stuff. It's and I think that's also a big thing for me to kind of be able to come back and really help the game go forward and push forward. And you know, there's so much potential here in this group. I thought Super Rugby this year, there was some glimpses of some really exciting rugby, and it shows what we could do individually, but also as a team. And I think you know, with the opportunity coming around with Wales and Georgia, I think there's a great opportunity for us to really showcase what we're about this year, and hopefully we can kind of change a lot of the perception out there that's on us.
Sleeps, were you surprised at all to see KB's name coming out?
I wasn't surprised. I was more proud. You know, KB's been a player that I've played most of my career with, and not only is he the oldest in the squad.
He had to throw that in.
Keeps it pretty happy for me, but just his experience and, you know, the way he's come back and from a bit of adversity, and the way he's gone about his business, and you know, he's put himself first. He's got himself ready. He's playing some good rugby, and he's just going to add a lot of value for the group.
You had your own adversity. Like, how can that change a player? And give another go.
I guess everyone's different, but I think you know, it probably brings you back to earth a bit. You know, makes you work out what's important for you, and not taking things, you know, that are really special for granted. So everyone's got their own journey, and you know, everyone goes through life challenges and whatnot, and some really good things as well. It's you know, just trying to be consistent through that and making sure you come out better.
One of the things we spoke about last year, the World Cup, there wasn't much experience. Having KB and 95 caps, like, what are some of the things that you can like already see in terms of having someone like a Kurtley in the group, what he does on and off the field?
Well, the first thing's his voice. You know, you walk into the room and KB's voice is probably the one you're going to hear the most. I wouldn't say he's the loudest, but he talks with a lot of ownership about what he's talking about. So, you know, for any young player looking up and seeing someone like Kurtley in the room, they're going to listen to him. So we've only been together for a day, but I can see moving forward that someone like Kurtley in this group will flourish.
Well, how's your calf going?
The calf's going well. I ran pretty well end of last week, so no, it was disappointing not to play for the Brumbies in that semi-final, but at the end of the day, it was probably the right call not to play. But I'm confident it's at a point now where I can push it.
The opportunity to get another crack at Wales, like, where does that beating and Leon, where does that kind of sit in terms of memories and ones that you want to get past, and then be able to kind of come out and then, you know, beat them the time after you play them?
Yeah, look, you know, this group's made a point that we're going to look forward, but you know, having an understanding of what's happened in the past as well. So, you know, last year was disappointing. Everyone knows that. The whole country knew that. So we, you know, the Welsh have obviously had a tough Six Nations as well. So they're a team that's been pretty consistent with their team selections. And yes, they got the wood over us big time last year, and we're expecting a pretty physical game coming down here to Australia. So it's you know, we don't want to look too far back. You know, we've got a new coaching staff. There's quite a few new players in the squad, so a lot of players weren't actually there. But yeah, it's a disappointing result from last year, and one we want to fix.
The coaching structure on the whole, like last year was here, there and everywhere. Like, do you get more confidence immediately knowing the guys, the pedigree and that coaching staff now?
I think as a playing group, like, we've got full confidence in the staff that have been put together. I think Joe's done a great job in bringing individual staff, whether they're from Australia or New Zealand or across the world. But as a playing group, we're really confident. We can't wait to work with them.
What have you noticed? You guys had a bit of a training run earlier. What have you already noticed in terms of Joe and what it's like on the training pad?
It's great. It's good. The way he kind of talks about certain aspects of the game, especially around the attacking ruck. I mean, it's simple, but kind of emphasises the importance of that work and allowing us to play how we want to play. So, it's the first thing we kind of got stuck into, but it's pretty honest, tells you how it is, and I think a lot of guys were able to kind of pick up on that and move forward.
James, it'll be the first time a lot of the younger players have been introduced to someone like Lord coming into the mix. What does he add as a reintroduced member of the squad, especially for the younger forwards?
Experience, a loud voice. He gives you very clear instructions of what he wants. He's a coach who's coached across the world. He's been around, God knows how many years, but he's a very relatable coach. So a lot of the players really enjoy being coached by Lord, and you know what you're going to get from him, and that's probably the best thing for a player is to know what you're going to get, and he'll give you that in spades.
A lot of detail through this week. It's a pretty short turnaround. How does it look through this next training block?
Yeah, well, we've only got 4 days. It's really not that long. The runway into the first game is minimal, so we've got 5 teams coming into one team. We've got to make that happen pretty quickly, and on top of that, we've got new staff, new players, so there's a lot of work to do, and we've started on that as well. So I guess as a playing group, we know what's in front of us. It's been laid out. There's a lot of work, a lot of detail to get across, but we're confident that we'll be in a position come next weekend that we'll be ready.
And leadership a big part of that short turnaround and directing the team as well. Has there been discussion about the leadership group and your role in it?
No, not necessarily. It's as I said, we've only got together last night, so I'm sure Joe will probably have a look at the squad and over the next week and into next week and come up with his own ideas around the leadership. But there's a young squad brought together, and there's a couple of experienced guys in there. We're going to need a mix of both.
And Dave got just over he used to get the guitar out, he used to get the cattle prod out. What's Joe Schmidt doing? What's he doing on a first night of introduction? What did that even involve?
First night most of it was just going around and getting to know everyone. There's a lot of players in there that haven't met each other, staff included. I think just setting the expectation was what we spoke about, what kind of where we're perceived at and where we want to be perceived at and how we're going to make that happen. So that's pretty much what we spoke about last night for a start.
Okay. Guys online, is there anything you'd like to cover off?
Yeah, I've got a question. Is that all right, Marty? Or
Yeah, you go.
do you
Yeah,
want
go.
anyone else can go before me if you want?
There you go, Johnny.
Kurtley, how are you? First question from me is, obviously you went really well at the Force this season. Is there any news really on where you want to be next year? Obviously the season's over and you're back in the Wallabies. Are you looking to stay at the Force, or you're keeping your options open?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time at the Force, and I think I've mentioned, a big carrot would be a part of another crack at the British and Irish Lions tour. So, and if that's got to be at the Force and then work my way through there, then yeah, that'll be great. But we're still in negotiations at the moment.
Yeah, and the second question from me is, it's been a while, 2021 I think the last cap was actually against Wales. Can you just tell us, you're back in the polo shirt, we can tell how happy you are to be there. What does it mean to pull on that national jumper for you yourself?
When you're kind of sitting out on the sidelines for a long stint, you certainly learn to appreciate what you have and how special the Wallaby jerseys is, representing your country in front of your family and friends at the top level is the ultimate. It's the pinnacle of the game, and it's just an absolute honour. And whilst you can still do it, and you feel like you can still do it, that's always the motivation, is to prove yourself against the best in your country, but then also internationally. And it's very special to be able to represent your country, and I'm really excited to be back in the mix again.
You only got 5 caps before, I think 5, if my maths is right, before you get to 100, alongside the British and Irish Lions. Is that a massive goal for you to try and become that player?
Absolutely. It's a huge milestone within the game, and you kind of almost dedicate the game coming straight from school. It's been a part of my life like forever now. So, these are little things that are huge motivators for me. It allows me to have that real purpose, and it allows me to get up and go to training every day with a real strong purpose and an intent to be able to go out there and go for gold. So, I'm really enjoying that challenge as well. It's not going to be given to me, and I understand that. But I think that's the exciting bit, being able to kind of test yourself against some of the best up and coming players in the country, some established players now, and that's the real excitement for me.
Last question, boys, if that's all right. Kurtley, obviously you talked about your year off, and I'm sure there were, you always have that self-belief in yourself and a player to come back, and those lonely training sessions coming back for Randwick, whatever. Are you looking at the jersey now with a different set of eyes from the guy who was a regular picked? You were an automatic selection for a number of years. You're obviously, like Slips, you're at a different stage of your career. Are you really just inhaling every moment in terms of being in the camp and getting to just enjoy every moment in the national side?
Yeah, I certainly am, definitely. Grinning from ear to ear, it's there's a real buzz around it, and you just can't. Yeah, you just it's the best, mate. So yeah, and just whilst you're kind of here, you want to make the most of it, and you want to make sure you're adding to the group. You want to make sure that you're bringing the best version of yourself to be able to influence the group the best way you can to be able to get the right results you want.
Anything further on the line, guys? We've got a couple of minutes.
Yeah, just had a few for James, if that was all good. Mate, just wanted to pick your brain about Alex Hodgman's inclusion in the squad, and just having a forward who's come through the New Zealand pathways, played for the All Blacks, and just grown up with a very different education of forward play at this sort of level. What sort of benefits or incentives you see as having that around the group?
I think, it's a great inclusion for us. It's another stack of experience that we're injecting into the squad. Overall it's a relatively young playing group, so to have someone with experience like Alex, will only help us. He's been around, he's played for the All Blacks, so it's a little bit different having him in the green and gold now, but I've only really gotten to know him in the last day, so he's a great man, and I'm looking forward to working with him.
And I know you've been down south for a while now, but just as a good Queensland boy, there's about half the forwards selected or coming out of the Reds program here. So I guess just watching from afar, what have you sort of seen in the Reds style of forward play that's led to this representation? And can that cohesion translate over to the international game, or is there a bit more to it than that?
Oh, well, it depends on who's selected, really. Like, there's other players in the group as well, not just the Reds boys in that forward pack. So depending on who's picked, cohesion will come into that. But from watching, I was really impressed with the Reds this year. I thought their forward work was really slick, and they really worked hard. Their breakdown set piece, so rightly so, they've been rewarded pretty heavily in the Wallabies squad. So it's been great to watch. Certain players really stood out for me.
And just last one from me, we chatted about Kurtley's cap milestone there. I guess you've got one of your own insights. You're on track to be our most capped Wallaby. Just you've been around the game for a while now. How much longer do you have at this level, do you think? Like, are you more of a day-to-day sort of person, or have you really circled off that Lions tour as a good opportunity for you?
Oh yeah, there might have been a circle on the calendar, but you just never know. It's kind of like what Curly said. You just don't know when your last game's going to happen. So yeah, like talking about how special it is. That's what's special about it. You don't know. You don't know. I'm not guaranteed to play next week. I'm not guaranteed to play another game. So you get given an opportunity. To hit a milestone, it is great, and when you get there, that's when I'll probably think more about it. But just like Kurtley said, you still got to get there. So I'll take it week by week. I'll always put my best into the jersey, so we'll see what happens.